Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Can you see my camera?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
By June, NHS in England said black women were 8 times more likely to be admitted to hospital with the virus.
So I have Chaya Mataji reciting the Sanskrit and Chitrika Mataji the English. Am I correct?
That's correct, Prabhuji. I'm under my daughter-in-law's computer, Suman Bedi, so excuse me, I'm not home today.
Bye.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Devoji.
Hare Krishna.
Was not functioning today. And, I want to spend time. I would suggest that. Wait. Oh no, what's going on here?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jolly Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Bharat Bhai.
Hare Krishna, Bharat Prabhu. How are you doing?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
I
Krishna,
need to give
Vaishnava
my-
Mataji.
I need to give my particulars at the end of the meeting today.
All right, sure, no problem.
The last time when you called me, my phone was not working.
Okay. So let us.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Mataji. So I'll share my screen, and then we can start the recitation. So we'll be reading from text number 22. So I'm going to mute everyone. And then Mataji, if you could please unmute yourselves because there's some background noise coming through.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right. So we're going to do from text number 22. Let me go down there so that everyone can see my screen. You're reading off my screen, Mataji, or you're reading off your own computer?
From your screen, Prabhuji.
All right. Okay. So I'll have to be really tuned in. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have actually practicing, and if there is any mistake in Sanskrit, please do let me know, yeah?
I will let you know, but
Thank you.
yeah, you just give it your best shot, Mataji, and I'm sure everything will be fine.
Yeah, sure. It's from text 22, yeah? Vedanam samvedo asmi devanam asmi vaso indriyanam manahascha asmi bhutanam asmi chetana.
Prabhuji, it's very low. I can hardly hear. I don't know why.
Shall I say again?
It was very low. I couldn't follow. Sorry about that.
Okay. Do you want me to read it again?
If you don't mind, then I can do it
No,
straight away.
that's not a problem. No
Sorry
problem,
about
no.
that.
No, it may be me. I can speak loudly. So I'm going to say it. I'm going to speak again. Vedanam samuvedo asmi devanam asmi vasava indriyanam manascha asmi bhutanam asmi chetana.
Of the Vedas, I am the Samved. Of the demigods, I am the Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in the living beings, I am the living force, consciousness.
रुद्राणां शङ्करश्च अस्मि विशेषः यक्षराक्षमान् यतीनां पार्वतः च अस्मि मेरुः शिशिराम् अहम्.
Of all the Rudras, I am the Lord Shiva. Of the Yakshas and the Rakshas, I am the Lord of Wealth, Kuvera. Of the Vasus, I am fire, Agni. And of mountains, I am Meru.
पुरुदशावच मुख्यमदां विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पति सेनानीनाम् अहं स्कन्दः सरसाम् अस्मि सागरः.
Of priests, O Arjun, know me to be the chief, Brihaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya. And of bodies of water, I am the ocean.
महेशाणां मृगः अहं गिराम् अस्मि एकमक्षरं यज्ञानां जपयज्ञो अस्मि स्थावराणां हिमालयः.
Of the great sages, I am Brigu. Of vibration, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy name Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas.
अश्वत्थः सर्ववृक्षाणां देवर्षीणां च नारद गन्धर्वाणां चित्ररथः सिद्धीनां कपिलो मुनिः.
Of all trees, I am the banyan tree. And of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha. And among perfect beings, I am the sage Kapila.
उज्जेयः स्रवस्वम् अश्वानां विद्धि माम् अमृतोदभवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नारायणं च नराधिपम्.
Of the many hooded Nagas, I am the Nanta. And among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varuna. Of the departed ancestors, I am Aryamam. And among the dispensers of law, I am Yama, the Lord of Death.
Mataji, I think you've jumped a few verses. You're supposed to read
27.
27.
Oh.
Horses know me to be Ucheshrava.
Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. I think I've gone too far. Sorry about this. You know, I'm not in my house. I'm just not used to this computer. Sorry about this.
It's all right. It's okay.
Of horses know me to be Ucha Harisha, produced during the churning of the ocean of nectar. Of load-lead elephants, I am Aravat.
Airavat.
Airavat. And among men, I am the monarch.
आयुधानाम् अहं व्रजं धेनूनाम् अस्मि कमुदुक कुजनहश्च अस्मि कन्दर्प सर्पाणाम् अस्मि वासुकी.
Of all trees, I am the banyan tree. And of the sages among the demigods, I am Narada. And of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha. And among perfect beings, I am the sage Kapila. I think we've done that. Oh my God, I've done it again. Sorry
it's okay.
about it.
It's all right.
It was 28, isn't it? The thing is, I'm not used to this computer. That's what's happening. Oh God. Oh, sorry. I need to call my son in a minute. So I need to do 28, isn't it?
Yeah, the 28.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm so feel so bad. Of weapons, I'm the thunderbolt. Among cows, I'm the surebi. Of causes for procreation, I'm Gandharva, the god of love, and of serpents, I'm the Vasuki.
अनन्तः च अस्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसाम् अहं पितॄणाम् अर्यमा च अस्मि यमः संयमताम् अहम्.
Of the many hooded Nagas, I'm Ananta, and among the aquatics, I'm the demigod Varuna. Of departed ancestors, I'm Arama, and among the dispensers of law, I'm Yama, the lord of death.
प्रह्लादश्च अस्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयताम् अहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्र अहं वैनतेय च पक्षिणाम्.
Among the deified demons, I am the devoted Prahlada. Among the subdues, I am Time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garuda.
पवनः पवताम् अस्मि रामः शस्त्रभूताय अहं यक्षाणां मकरः च अस्मि स्रोतसाम् अस्मि जाह्नवी.
Of purifiers of the wind, I am the wielders of weapons. I am a Rama. Of fishes, I am the shark. And of flowing rivers, I am the Ganges.
सर्वाणाम् आदि अनन्तः च मध्यं च एव अहम् अर्जुन अध्यात्मविद्या विज्ञानाय वादः प्रवदताम् अहम्. Sorry, I just
Of all creations, I am the beginning and the end, also the middle, O Arjuna. Of all science, I am the spiritual science of the self, and among logicians, I am the conclusive truth.
अक्षराम् आकारः अस्मि द्वन्द्वः समासितस्य च अहम् एव अक्षयः कालो दाता अहम् विश्वतोमुख.
Of letters, I am the letter A, and among compound words, I am the dual compound. I am also an inexhaustible time, and of creators, I am Brahma.
मृत्युः सर्वहरश्च अहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यताम् कीर्तिः श्रीवाक् च नारीणां स्मृतिः मेधा धृतिः क्षमा.
I am all delivering death, and I am the generating principle of all that is to be. Among women, I am fame, fortune, fine speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and patience.
बृहत्साम तथा श्यामनां गायत्री छन्दस्य अहं मासानां मार्गशीर्षो च अहं ऋतूनां कुसुमाकर.
Of the hymns in the Samved, I am Brit Sama, and of poetry, I am the Gayatri. Of months, I am Margrisha, November to December, and of season, I am the flower-bearing spring.
36, sorry. घृतं छलयातम् अस्मि तेजस्विनाय अहम्. घृतं छलाताय अस्मि तेजस्विनाय अहम्. जयो अस्मि व्यवसायो अस्मि तत्त्वं सत्त्ववाताम् अहम्. तत्त्वं सत्त्ववाताम् अहम्.
I am also the gambling of cheats, and of the splendid I am the splendor. I am victory, I am adventure, and I am the strength of the strong.
वृषीणां वासुदेवो अस्मि पाण्डवानां धनञ्जय मुनीनाम् अपि अहं व्यासः कवीनाम् उष्णा कविः.
Of the descendants of Vrishni, I am the Vasudev, and of the Pandavas, I am Arjuna. Of the sages, I am Vyas, and among great thinkers, I am the Ushana.
दण्डो दमयताम् अस्मि नीति अस्मि जिगीषताम् मौनं च एवम् अस्मि हृदयानां ज्ञानवताय अहम्.
Among all men of suppressing lawlessness, I am punishment, and of those who seek victory, I am morality. Of secret things, I am silence, and of the wise, I am the wisdom.
यत् च अपि सर्वभूतानां बीजं तत् अहम् अर्जुन न तत् अस्ति विना यत् स्यात् मया भूतं चराचरम्.
Furthermore, O Arjun, I am the generative seed of all existence. There is no being, moving or non-moving, that can exist without me.
न अन्त अस्मि मया दिव्यानां विभूतीनां परं तपम् एषः तु उदेशतः प्रोक्तो विभूतः विस्तरो मया.
O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. What I have spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences.
यत् यत् विभूतिमत् सत्त्वं श्रीमत् ऊर्जितम् एव वा तत् एव अवगच्छतवं मम तेजो अंशसम्भवम्.
Know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor.
अथवा बहुना एतेन किं ज्ञातेन तव अर्जुन द्रष्टव्यम् अहम् इदं कृत्स्नम् असेन स्थितो जगत्.
But what need is there, Arjun, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sorry, Prabhuji, if I have made any mistake.
No, yeah, I think
Apologies.
it was a
Apologies
wonderful
for me.
attempt.
Yeah.
And Chitralekha Mataji, you had a few challenges with your computer, but you came through it very nicely.
I'm
Well
so
done.
sorry. I'm so happy to feel very bad.
No, don't worry about it. You both did very well. It's your first attempt, and I'm very pleased at how you all recited it. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So let me share my screen again. So welcome everyone to chat. We meet again. I'm having a bit extra airtime this week because the Vietnam Prabhu is still recovering. So I'm fortunate to be in your association. So any one of you are new, just joined the group. A warm welcome to you. My name's Vrindavan Chandra. I'm one of the facilitators of our daily gathering called Chat. Chat means chapter a day. And normally, traditionally, we would read the entire chapter. Or it's a long chapter, like chapter 10, we read half of the chapter. And then we go to one verse. But now we've finished all of the 42 verses of chapter 10. And normally we try to do a chapter from Ekadasi to Ekadasi. So we have a few days before the next Ekadasi. And at the same time, there's a wonderful opportunity for us to, with Sri Krishna Janmastemi coming up, to meditate on the pastimes of the Lord, and in particular, the Lord's appearance. So this is what we're going to be doing. And yesterday we started with Mukunda Hari Prabhu, who together with you read the first 3 paragraphs. So we'll carry on from there today. But before we do, we'll say the Mangalacharam prayers. These prayers are there to invoke auspiciousness for all of us. And it is also to recognize our great good fortune in connecting with the Lord, His devotees, and this knowledge. And Srila Prabhupada. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Malitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachare Shatharine. So before we start reading today, I just wanted to speak something about Krishna book. The fact that we have Krishna book is in itself such a wonderful, wonderful gift that we've received from Srila Prabhupada. And as most of you all may know, that this Krishna book is a summary study of the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The 10th canto is accepted to be the smiling face of the Lord. We know that Srimad Bhagavatam is the body of the Lord. And just bear with me while I try to sort out this mic. And the 10th canto is the smiling face of the Lord because it's the essence of all Vedic literature. Srila Prabhupada started translating the Srimad Bhagavatam, and he arrived in America in 1966. with full determination to fulfill the orders of his spiritual master to write and print books in the English language. And he wanted to give the world the Srimad Bhagavatam. But when he landed in America, he had only started, he was in the second canto, moving to the third canto. And Srila Prabhupada was advanced in his age, and he was thinking to himself, what if I leave this planet? I'm only on the third canto, and it's the 10th canto that is the essence of all knowledge. So Srila Prabhupada decided to give the world the 10th canto, which is the pastimes of Lord Krishna in the form of Krishna book. Now, all of us who are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we know that Prabhupada, even in the very first verse, the purport, he says, one should not jump to the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. One should go gradually through the various cantos till he comes to the 10th canto. And Prabhupada said, if one jumps straight to the 10th canto, one is sure to misunderstand the pastimes of the Lord. And if you go gradually, by the time you come to the 9th canto, you'll be a liberated soul. So one may ask the question, Srila Prabhupada has been very emphatic about not jumping to the 10th canto, yet he's giving the world the 10th canto. And there's a reason. This book, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada had written it in the most beautiful way, in which he had weaved in a very expert way philosophy lila with Siddhanta philosophy. And he's written this Krishna book in a beautiful way that anyone who reads it cannot misunderstand the position of Lord Krishna. So Prabhupada, in 1969, 3 years after he arrived, he had this feeling that I don't know how long I'm going to live. I have to give the world knowledge about Krishna. So he stopped work on the third canto, and then he started to translate. And at the same time, translation was only part of the organization. He got all the devotees together, the art department. He formed a printing press. And in 1 year, which is in itself quite a miracle, Srila Prabhupada translated all of the 10th canto, which was completely a miracle. But that was only part of the battle. Srila Prabhupada also had to print the book. And to print the book cost $18,000. And Prabhupada and his fledgling movement was so poor. They did not have much funds. But Prabhupada wanted to print it. And how he is going to get $18,000? Does anyone know how Prabhupada got the $18,000?
George Harrison?
Yes. He called Shyamasundar, who had made friends with George Harrison. And he said, Shyamasundar, we need to print Krishna book. Can you ask George whether he can give the money? At that time, Shyamasundar Prabhu was just trying to make friends with George Harrison. And he was very, very reluctant to ask for any money. But he said, anyway, I will ask. And he asked George, and George donated. And in March of 1970, the payment was made into the account of Dynapon, the printers in Japan. And it was a marathon. The books were put together. And finally, for the first time ever, the Western world was going to have in their hands the essence of all knowledge, which is the pastimes of Lord Krishna. And this knowledge was locked away in the Sanskrit language, but Srila Prabhupada made it accessible to the world. And this is really the most amazing gift that we've received. So we'll continue now reading from Krishna book. And would anyone, we'll just read the next paragraph. I've copied and pasted because I just thought it's easier to read and flow the narrative. So would anyone like to volunteer to read this paragraph?
Yes, Prabhuji. Can I read it, Prabhuji?
Is that Vilashni Mataji? Who's I couldn't see her name come.
Yes, Vishalini.
Vishalni, sorry, Vishalni Mataji. Okay, you can read, and then someone else also said they would like to read. Who was the other person?
That was me, Prabhuji.
Okay, so Prabhupada Mataji, you can read the next one after that. And there was someone else also said they wanted to read.
I see.
Yashvini. Shabani. And let's see, Yashvini Mataji. All right, so I've got a few names. All right, you can go on, Mataji, please.
Okay. After instructing and pacifying all the demigods as well as Bhumi with sweet words, Lord Brahma, the father of all Prajapatis or progenitors of the universal population, departed for his own abode, the highest material planet called Brahmaloka.
Okay, wonderful. So yesterday we've read the earth was overburdened. There was great concern among the demigods. They approached the Lord, singing the nice Purusha Shukta prayers. They made their plea to the Lord, and the Lord heard their plea, and he pacified them by saying that he will address their concerns. And then after their meeting, they all departed. All of those who came to appeal to the Lord departed. So this is where we start off today. And then we go on to the next paragraph. So Mataji, you can read Prabhuta Mataji.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you. The leader of the Yadu dynasty, King Surasena, was ruling over the country known as Mathura, wherein lies the city of Mathura, as well as the district known as Surasena, which was named after him. On account of the rule of King Surasena, Mathura becomes the capital city of all the kings of the Yadus. Mathura was also made the capital of the kings of the Yadu dynasty, because the Yadus were a very pious family and knew that Mathura is the place where Lord Sri Krishna lives eternally, just as he also lives in Dwarka.
Thank you. So some very interesting points here. Firstly, let us just see where is this place. On the right, you have the bulk of a map of India. These names of places have changed. So you see on the map, this is the place called Surasena, as the place named after King Surasen. And to the left is called Matsya, to the right is Panchala, and then is Kuru. That's where present-day New Delhi is Hastinapur. So that just gives you an idea. And the capital, the main place of Surasena's kingdom was Mathura. And this was the place of the Yadu dynasty. And Mathura, being a holy place, this is why King Surasena selected it to be his place. Now, in the next paragraph, we are going to talk about some personalities. And I just wanted to put in context of who are the personalities we're going to talk about. So here in this diagram, you can see this is King Surasena. One of his sons is Vasudev. He also had 9 other sons. He had 5 daughters. One of the daughters was Kunti. And we know the 5 Pandavas and then Karna. And then on the right-hand side, we will hear soon about other personalities, Kamsa and Devaki. So they came in a lineage where the king Devaka was brothers with King Ugrasen. Kamsa was one of the sons of Ugrasen. He had 8 other sons and 5 daughters. And King Devaka, his daughter was Devaki. He had 4 other sons and 6 daughters. So that'll give you, and you will just read about now some union between these different dynasties and families. So let's go to the next paragraph. And Shabani Mataji, I think you wanted to read. You volunteered to read, sorry.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Once upon a time, Vasudeva, the son of Surasena, just after marrying Devaki, was going home on his chariot with his newly wedded wife. The father of Devaki, known as Devaka, has contributed a sufficient dowry because he was very affectionate towards his daughter. He had contributed hundreds of chariots completely decorated with gold equipment. At that time, Kamsa, the son of Ugrasena, in order to please his sister Devaki, had voluntarily taken the reins of the horses of Vasudeva's chariot and was driving. According to the custom of the Vedic civilization, when a girl is married, the brother takes the sister and brother-in-law to their home, because the newly married girl may feel too much separation from her father's family. The brother goes with her until she reaches her father-in-law's house.
Wonderful. So you can picture in your mind's eye now, the wedding has taken place. And now Vasudeva is taking his wife, newly wedded wife Devaki, to his kingdom. And accompanying them, they've got a huge dowry. And a nice description here is given of the dowry, and there'll be even more description given. And the brother, or as we've seen in the diagram, the cousin brother of Devaki is Kamsa. And it's the custom, the brother takes the sister to a new home. So this is what Kamsa is doing now. Because as Prabhupada says, it's too much of separation from the family. Someone from the family should go with the daughter. So this is what's happening now. Kamsa is taking his sister Devaki, and he's even taken the reins. He's become the chariot driver. So we get the first impressions of Kamsa here. He's so nice. He's taking his sister, and he's holding the chariot, driving the chariot. Very nice impression of Kamsa we get. But let's see what happens. Next, if you can read, was it Yashvini Mataji? I think you volunteered to read.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
The full dowry contributed by Devaka was as follows: 400 elephants fully decorated with golden garlands, 15,000 decorated horses, and 1,800 chariots. He also arranged for 200 beautiful girls to follow his daughter. The Kshatriya system of marriage, still current in India, dictates that when a Kshatriya is married, a few dozen of the bride's young girlfriends, in addition to the bride, go to the house of the king. The followers of the queen are called maidservants, but actually they act as friends of the queen. This practice is prevalent from time immemorial, traceable at least to the time before the advent of Lord Krishna, 5,000 years ago. So Vasudeva brought home another 200 beautiful girls along with his wife Devaki.
Thank you, Mataji. So again, a beautiful description given in Srimad Bhagavatam about the dowry. And this gives one an idea of the opulence. And not only the opulence, but it's almost like a huge festive atmosphere or canopy, cavalry going on, 400 elephants, 15,000 decorated horses, 1,800 chariots. So this must have been a huge party, 200 beautiful girls, all coming with Vasudeva and Devaki after their marriage. But then the whole scene starts to change. Would someone else like to read this?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Palika Mataji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. While the bride and the bridegroom was passing along on the chariot, there were different kinds of musical instruments playing to indicate the auspicious moment. There were conch shells, bugles, drums, the kettle drums combined together. They were vibrating as a nice concert. The procession was passing very pleasingly, and Kamsa was driving the chariot, when suddenly there was a miraculous sound vibrated from the sky, which specially announced to Kamsa, Kamsa, you are such a fool. You are driving the chariot of your sister and brother-in-law, but you do not know that the eighth child of this sister will kill you.
Thank you. Now the drama starts. Everything is so nice. Music is playing, drums are banging. Sounds like a concert, you know, a huge festival. And then suddenly there was a miraculous sound. And this is like the defining moment. And for us, it's such an important moment because it's from this moment that our good fortune is going to start. This is going to precipitate the appearance of Lord Krishna into our world. So Kamsa was very nice. He suddenly hears this prophecy coming from the sky, a louder sound, it vibrated. So let's read now, what is Kamsa's reaction? You can see here, big festivity in this picture. And okay, let's read what happens next. Would anyone like to read this? Hare Krishna.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, carry on, please do.
Kamsa was the son of Ugrasen of the Bhoj dynasty. It is said that Kamsa was the most demonic of the Bhoj dynasty kings. Immediately after hearing the prophecy from the sky, he got hold of Devaki's hair and was just about to kill her with his sword. Vasudeva was astonished at Kamsa's behavior, and in order to pacify the cruel, shameless brother-in-law, he began to speak as follows. With great reason and evidence, he said, "My dear brother-in-law Kamsa, you are the most famous with great reasons and evidence." He said, sorry, I missed the line. You are the most famous king of the Bhoj dynasty, and people know that you are the greatest warrior and valiant king. How is that you are so infuriated that you are prepared to kill a woman who is your own sister at this auspicious time of her marriage? Why should you be so much afraid of death? Death is already born again with your birth. From the very day you took your birth, you began to die. Suppose you are 25 years old, that means that you have already died with 25 years. Every moment, every second you are dying. Why then should you be so much afraid of death? final death is inevitable. You may die either today or in 100 years. You cannot avoid death. Why should you be so much afraid? Actually, death means annihilation of the person's body. As soon as the present body stops functioning and mixes with other 5 elements of material nature, the living entity within the body accepts another body according to his present actions and reactions. It is just like when a man walks on the street, he puts forward his foot, and when he is confident that his foot is situated on a sound ground, he lifts the other foot. In this way, one after another, the bodies change and the soul transmigrates. See how the plant worms change from one twig to another so carefully. Similarly, the living entity changes the body as soon as the higher authorities decides on his next body. As long as a living entity is coordinated within his material world, conditioned within this material world, he must take material bodies one after another. His next particular body is offered by the laws of nature, according to these actions and reactions of this life.
Thank you, Mataji.
Oh my God, what a wonderful lines. Oh.
This is, so you can picture the scene. Kamsa, Prabhupada writes very beautifully to the scene. He said, he writes, Kamsa was driving the chariot and controlling the reins with his left hand. But as soon as he heard the omen that his sister's 8th child would kill him, he gave up the reins, caught hold of his sister's hair, and with his right hand took up a sword to kill her. Before, he had been so affectionate that he was acting as his sister's chariot driver. But as soon as he heard that his self-interest or his life was at risk, he forgot all affection for her and immediately became a great enemy. This is the nature of demons. No one should trust a demon despite any amount of affection. So Srila Prabhupada is saying his true nature came out. His true nature came out. He said, what is deep in your heart will come out when it is really, really needed. Oh, somehow or other my program crashed. So Srila Prabhupada is writing here that Kamsa, he was acting very affectionately. But as soon as he found out that his self-interest was at risk, what did he do? His real nature came out. His demoniac nature came out. So Srila Prabhupada is saying one should never trust a demon. Actually, there's only 2 classes of people in this world, devotee and demon. Those who accept the superiority of the Lord, they are known as devotees. They can be any class of people. But those who contest the superiority of the Lord, they are known as demons. So Kamsa is immediately showing his demoniac nature. And Prabhupada said, one should never trust a demon. So sometimes you may meet people, they are very sweet externally, very, very nice. But the moment their self-interest gets threatened, their demoniac nature will come out. The demonic nature will come out. So in the same way, what is in our heart, when we are tested, when our life is at danger, that which will really come out. And there's one nice story in this regard, I will say. There was once a Pandit. He used to travel around the country challenging people. And in India, the system is if a Pandit comes and challenges you, if you can meet his challenge and you can defeat him, you become greater, he becomes your disciple. But if you can't defeat him, you become his disciple. So he was going around the country and he was challenging people to say, please tell me what my mother tongue is. So he would go to Gujarat and they would speak Gujarati there. And he would speak perfect Gujarati in response. They said, you Gujarati? No, I'm not Gujarati. Then he would go to Punjab and they would speak Punjabi to him. And he would speak perfect Punjabi back. You Punjabi? No, you're wrong. I'm not Punjabi. You become my disciple. He would go to different places and he was so expert in speaking so many languages and expertly that no one could tell what his mother tongue was. And he was making disciples everywhere. But once he came to Mathura and he was challenging, and maybe he was thinking they'll speak Basi and they will talk. So he challenged him, tell me what my language is. Then there was one clever devotee. When the challenge was issued, he went, crept up behind him, and he swung his arm and gave him a tight slap, a really hard slap. And the moment he got the slap, he got so angry and he started to curse. And in what language did he curse? His mother tongue. So the devotee said, that's your mother tongue. You are defeated. You become my disciple. So the moral of the story is that what is deep in our heart will come out. If we are Krishna conscious, if we are attached to Krishna, Krishna consciousness is in our DNA, then when there is a difficult situation, we will take shelter of Krishna. If wherever our attachment lies in its deepest, if we are attached to our family, at time of need, we'll cry for our mother or wife or husband. If we are attached to our country, we'll think of our country. So Kamsa, his nature was demoniac. So when he heard that, it came out. It came out. So it is 8:30 now. Sorry, Chandra Chaitanya Prabhu. Maybe tomorrow, whoever's doing class, I'll ask them to make you read first. I just wanted to go through what we were discussing, and maybe I will ask some questions. At home, this is the most exciting part of our reading. After we read, then ask questions, and the children answer when we read Krishna book every day. So after the demigods had made their plea to the Lord, and the Lord heard them and pacified them, what happened? We started off with this sentence. What happened after the demigods?
Return to his abode.
They returned to their abodes,
abode,
their respective abodes, yes.
Yes.
Right. And then we got to the point where the leader of the Yadu dynasty is introduced. Who is the leader of the Yadu dynasty?
King Sursen.
King Surasen, yes. And what was the name of the district in which King Surasen lived?
Mathura.
No.
Sursen.
The name of the district was Surasen, yes.
Sursen.
And what was the capital?
Mathura.
Mathura was the capital. Now, why did King Surasen make Mathura his capital?
It was a holy place.
It was a holy place, and he knew that this very holy place, and he himself was holy, a holy person. So he made that his capital. And then we got to the point where Vasudeva was coming with Devaki, his newly wedded wife. And who was the father of Devaki?
Devaka.
Devaka, yes, Devaka. And who was Devaka's brother?
Kamsa.
Ugrasen.
It's Ugrasen.
Ugrasen. Ugrasen was Devaka's brother. And who was the so-called prominent son of Ugrasen?
Kamsa.
Kamsa, yeah, Kamsa. So they were like cousin brothers and sisters, him and Devaki. So Kamsa showed a very nice side of himself. And how did he show himself? In two ways. Can someone tell me how he showed a apparently nice side of himself?
Well,
Was driving.
chariot driver.
In the chariot.
Driver, and one more thing.
He was taking
The bride. Yes.
Devaki.
Yes, he was taking, he acted as the foremost family member to accompany her. And then we read about the opulence of the dowry, right? Can someone tell me some of the opulent things that caught your attention?
400 elephants.
400 elephants.
15,000 like decorated horses.
How many horses, Mataji?
15,000.
15,000, yes.
1800 chariots.
1800 chariots.
Bridesmaids, 200 brides.
200 girls.
100 girls.
Sorry, I missed that.
200
Bridesmaids.
Okay, 200 maidservants. Yes, maidservants. So everything was like really, really nice, festive and wonderful. But then something dramatic happened. Sorry, one more thing about the scene, the festive scene. Can someone else tell me, besides the dowry, there was something else very nice about the festive scene?
There was some musical instruments playing along the procession.
Yes, musical instruments, drums, kettle drums, and it was like a concert, a nice concert. And then something amazing happened. What
came in the sky, Prabhuji? That
a voice in the sky. What did the voice in the sky said?
They said that Devki's 8 son will kill you.
No, I think that's you are a fool
Devki's
and
8
you are
son will kill you.
And what are you
doing? You are such a fool.
Such a fool, and you don't know what you are doing because Devki's 8 sons going to kill you.
Yes. The first thing the voice in the sky did, it poked Kamsa's ego. Gave him a big poke. You are a fool. So Kamsa, you can imagine his reaction, demoniac person, when you poke the ego. First said, you're a fool. And secondly, poked his ego again. You are a chariot driver. You're a chariot driver. And then he gave him another one. You are going to be killed by the 8th son, the 8th child of that person, Devaki. And then we had this most beautiful, beautiful speech by, before we got into that, I didn't even speak about the speech, which I wanted to speak about. Anyway, of which dynasty was Kamsa? What is the name of the dynasty Kamsa came in? Bhoja dynasty. Yeah, Bhoja dynasty. And then when he heard this, what was the first thing Kamsa did?
He hold of
the ring and hold of the Devki's hair.
In which hand?
About to kill her.
Right hand.
He grabbed the hair with the left hand.
Left hand, yeah.
Was just about to kill her.
Yes, yes. So immediately he became so angry he became. And I wish we had time to speak about Vasudev's response, but Vasudev's response was so wonderful. He firstly tried diplomacy. And there's two aspects to diplomacy. One is called Sama and one is called Beda. Sama means pacifying and Beda means invoking fearful situation. So the first thing he said, he appealed, he pacified him. And he said, he appealed to his welfare. He said, how can you kill a woman? That's called, in the Sanskrit, is anyat shriyam. And then he said, appealed to his gain. He said, you like fame? If you kill your sister, you will lose your fame. And then he appealed to his relationships. We are family. And then he said, your identity. She's your sister. And then he praised Kamsa. And what did he say? My dear brother-in-law, you are the most famous king of the Bhoja dynasty. And people know that you are the greatest warrior and a valiant king. So started to perk his ego up again. And so Vasudev so intelligently used that and then bear their fear. And he said, if you do this, you're going to commit sin. Do you want to get the reaction of a sin? And then secondly, you're going to cause problems within the family. You should not kill. So Vasudev gave so many nice reasons, which because of a lack of time. But the one I really like is the one he says about the moment you're born, you start to die. Like for us, when we get 50 years, we have a big party. We're 50 years today, everyone come, let's celebrate. I'm 50 now. But actually, we should be crying because 50 years we've died. So the baby is born, we think, oh, the baby is 1 day old. No, the baby is 1 day closer to death. The moment we are born, we start to die. We start to die. And Vasudev speaks so much, just you can read it and we can spend like days just describing Vasudev's beautiful philosophy to Kamsa to try to dissuade him. So he's using diplomacy, he's using philosophy, and so on. And we'll see what effect if it hasn't Kamsa, whether that can change him. And that we'll move on to tomorrow. Are there any questions from your side or comments or realizations that you had about today's session?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu.
I missed on the second good quality of Kansa. What was the second?
So he said, my dear brother, first, you are the most famous king. Second is, you are the greatest warrior.
No, not that, Prabhu. One that he was driving the chariot of his sister.
Yes.
And another was
the second one is he was accompanying her as a family member.
Ah, okay.
You are showing intimacy, like he cares. The most intimate family member normally goes. So Kamsa was coming as
perfect. Thank you.
As family member.
I noticed there is a question, Prabhu.
Yes. Let me see, Mataji. Sorry.
It says, how is it possible for Krishna to be original being creator if there are generation above him? So that's a question from somebody, I don't know.
Okay, yes. Thank you for pointing this out. This is Dev Kishan Prabhu. How is it possible for Krishna to be the original being creator if there are generations above him? Nice question, Dev Kishan. We understand that Krishna descends. He's the supreme personality of Godhead. It is not like us. We are taking birth and then we have our forefathers and so on. We understand from the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. Krishna is the cause of all causes. So he can appear at any time, in any place, according to his desire. And it does not mean that when he appears, then by the nature of his appearance, all of those generations are above him. No, these are like before Krishna appears, he sets the scene like a great artistic director. His parents appear before him, his abode appears before him, and everything is arranged. So when it comes to the appearance of the Lord, we cannot think in terms of our relative understanding of the world. The Lord's appearance is transcendental, and it doesn't necessarily follow any particular material consideration. When Mataji Jagruti Singh, I want to ask you one thing. I got Krishna book, but in Gujarati. Yes, Mataji. You can also get it in English if you want.
Yeah, is temple they have it?
Yes, there is
At
Krishna
temple?
book. Yes, there is.
Okay.
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 When you
Another
come-
thing I want to ask you, Vrindavan Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Is you not send the link how we can distribute book or
I sent the link today, Mataji, but someone pointed out to me that maybe on the forum that the link may not be
And-
working. Yeah, I'll send it again.
please, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And if we're sending in a group, then we don't have a list to where you can distribute. We can decide on how many people.
Yes, I was trying to, but we've just been so busy. I was going to create a link where online
That's
form.
fine, yeah.
Form. You can just drop me a note who you'd like it to be distributed to, Mataji, or a place, whether it's an organization, a care home, or a person. You just drop me a note who you would your proposed candidate, and then we'll consider that. We'll consider that. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments from anyone?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Pramila Mataji.
Prabhuji, this book, Krishna, is one of the most beautifully written book. It's so simple and easy to read with such lovely, fine, large print. And I wanted to say, you know, you were saying the stories are mixed in with philosophy. And I saw that so beautiful in chapter 88, the deliverance of Lord Shiva. The philosophy is so beautiful in that chapter. It's a chapter that's so worth reading. Well, along with all the other chapters, but that chapter is, the philosophy really is lovely.
Yes, wonderful. Once one disciple asked, Prabhupada said, tonight we shall read from Krishna book. And then the disciple said, Prabhupada, where from Krishna book should we read? And Prabhupada said, this Krishna book is like a sweet gulab jamun. No matter where you bite, it's sweet, tasty. So he said, wherever you like, you read from. It is so beautiful, so wonderful. Thank you, Pramila Mataji. Chapter 88, we'll look out for that.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else with any comments or questions? And otherwise we'll call it a day for today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Like each Dwapar, like there was Jai and Vijay who came in different forms. So I don't know what is the cons, why cons wants to kill Krishna. I know when there's Jai Vijay and they came Ravana and then other things, and in Krishna or Sisupal and other. But I don't know what the cons role,
You want to know who's Kant's identity?
Yeah, like why he wants to kill Krishna.
Why he wants to kill Krishna?
Not why he wants to, why it is Akaswani said, to kill him, 8th son of Devki. And what was the Kant's role, and why he came to kill, Krishna? Because I know in Jai Vijay, it's not a part of the Kant's.
No, in that past time, they said so many lifetimes you would come and fight with me in my different incarnations, isn't it, Mataji? So
Yeah,
when
but
the
most the Kants wants to, why Kants was there to kill, wants to kill Krishna. So
why he wants to kill Krishna? Because Krishna wants to have a fight with him. Krishna, one of Krishna's rasa is fighting rasa. He enjoys fighting, but he won't fight with anybody but besides his devotees. So they came in that guise.
Okay.
I'm not
So
sure if I
it
understood
was
your
not a part
question.
of the Jai. It was not like part of Jai Vijay, like
Yes.
Dwarpa. It's not a cons. It's not a part of them. Like
He is. I can't
part
remember
of
whether he's Jai or Vijay, but he's one of the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, devotees, thank you so much for your attendance and your participation. And we shall see you tomorrow and carry on reading from Krishna book. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, devotee.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji.